Argentina too good for Italy in the Autumn Nation Series. 37 points to 16, 5 tries to 1. Pretty emphatic and much needed victory for Mario Ledesma's men. We'll go over some of the key events, the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on the game. I watched this one not knowing the result, but obviously not live because it was on at 2 in the morning here in New Zealand. It's the second game I've watched after the Springboks and Scotland game. It was nice to see a game being played in Treviso for a change. I've kind of become slightly more familiar with that ground, having watched a bit of Benetton in the URC, and the crowd was into it early, or they were kind of taken out of the game a bit by the Argentinians, to be fair. I mean, both sides are a little bit early of getting isolated guys and conceding penalties at the breakdown at the start of the game. Argentina missed a penalty early, but it's one of those ones where a bit of misfortune leads to something good. In the first try for Argentina comes through Crema. It's pretty much after that missed penalty, and it's the return from the Argentinian guys taking the receipt, doing an up and under, Carreras, and he gets it to Boffelli. Boffelli gets man of the match, and he's so good under the high ball. And kicking was a big thing in this game, and Boffelli was kind of a key part of that. He beats Minozzi to the ball and offloads to Crema, who just charges over. Suddenly it's 7 points to 0. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the possession and territory had been with Argentina in that kind of opening stanza anyway. They tried to make it worse for Italy because Crema managed to charge down one of the Italian guys on the kick. Italy still kind of managed a decent exit, but then it led to a second scoring chance for the Argentinians with a penalty, which they kicked, so 10 points to 0 after about 13 minutes. That's kind of a confidence-building start when you're away from home, right? And both these sides, in terms of confidence, can't be that high on big losing runs, so 10 points to 0 away from home is a pretty solid one. Geez, that bird's excited. Argentina's defense held really well. I think the first time that Italy actually had a chance down Argentina's end, they managed to win a turnover within like 3 or 4 phases. So it was pretty impressive stuff. And then they extended their lead further, man. Juan Martín Gonzalez, one of my favorite players who I've kind of only come to know of this year, gets a proper try with a bit of football skills. Geronimo de la Fuente put in a nice little grubber, and he'd done 2 of those within a couple of minutes, to be honest. They were finding space behind the Italian defenders. He puts his kick through. He gets taken out, but Juan Martín Gonzalez is chasing it. He gets a boot to it and then manages to regather it. And to be fair, that one was all from a bit of enterprising play from Italy that didn't pay off. Minozzi runs it out of his own 22, gets it to Garbisi, who carries, but he knocks it on. And it's from that turnover ball that Italy end up under their own sticks and Argentina are there. I mean, Minozzi may have been out of position for that one because he was probably on the other side of the field, probably still picking himself up. I don't think he would have been able to get back in time. I haven't seen a wide shot of it, having watched the game just the once. But yeah, 17-0. 31 minutes, Italy managed to actually get some points on the board, though, with a bit of a settler. They needed some points before halftime. They kicked that 42-meter penalty to Garbisi. That was nice. Argentina could have had another try from a bit of poor play from Italy on a kick return. Like, some of the kicking was leading to good attacking chances for the Argentinian guys on the kick return, but nothing doing on that one. And right before halftime, Italy won a scrum penalty, which they managed to convert into 3 points. So it's 17-6 at halftime, which is not game over by any means. It's starting to get within kind of touching distance for the Italians. But second half starts in pretty quick fashion for the Argentinians, man. Moroni gets a try on the left wing. A cracking start, really good hands. And some of the hands, it's stuff we've seen from this Argentinian side in recent times, but not in the Rugby Championship that much. They were kind of starved of the ball. But when you have seen them with the ball, you've seen guys like Matera throwing these like final passes. You know, these guys have got the skills. So, yeah, 24 points to 6. They're back out to a more comfortable lead. But 47, Italy kind of managed to keep it just game on. Negri had gone close. He managed to kind of get over the advantage line. I think it was Mateo Carreras who brought him down. and a pretty good tackle, because that's a big unit of a man in Negri. But they went back for a penalty, and from there Italy were able to go through some phases, and Varney just dotted it down right on the line. So yeah, a much needed try for them. 13 points to 24. So like I say, you're still behind, but it's not 13-24 is far from game over. It got worse for Italy though after that, because Riccione goes off on a stretcher with what looks like a pretty bad leg injury. I don't know if he snapped or tore something, but he was just turning and then he went down like he'd been shot. Nobody was touching him, so that looks like it could be a pretty bad one. But good news was, I guess, is that while they'd stopped the game, Italy had got a penalty because De La Fuente had changed his lines for Argentina on a kick. So it's 16 points to 24, starting to get to game on. But then 53 minutes, Italy have got a line out on their own 22. They need to get a good exit. They don't get it because one of their ball carriers gets held up by the Argentinians. Some good strength from them. It's a maul turnover, and that momentum just stops the Italians kind of in their tracks. They've managed to get the last few scores. It stops right there, and it ends with Cordero on the right wing for a try for Argentina. And that's kind of where I knew, because I didn't know the score going into this one. Yeah, that's going to be the game. I mean, 29-16, it's the missed conversion, but still starting to get good in terms of Argentina getting a good lead. And then it devolves into a bit of a kicking battle. Like, the kicking numbers in this game are phenomenally high, and Argentina win that as well. The Italian guys are starting to look maybe a bit tired. But yeah, it's hard because there's some guys with big boots in that Argentinian team. I mean, the Italian guys as well. But eventually Argentina gets a penalty. So it's 32-16. The next try is Bosch. He gets it on a second attempt. First one gets TMO'd for a knock on. Second one gets given. It's basically the same move. Second time round it goes over. So it's 37-16. Pretty comfortable win in the end, man. I think the kicking battle, Argentina were able to get on top. Scrum time was a good battle, but just too good. I mean, what else can you say? The Argentinian guys, it's one where they maybe haven't looked that good in recent times up against the likes of the New Zealanders and the Springboks, but when you give them some ball, they actually look pretty sharp. Boffelli was great in the air. Gaggio had a really good hit on Minozzi, who's a pretty fleet-footed guy. But yeah, Gaggio, the loose head prop, managed to shut him down, which was pretty good to see. So, I mean, Monty Ioane at the death, to be fair, he did put a big hit in on Moroni to give the crowd something to cheer about and to set their guys up for a potential consolation try, but it wasn't to be. I mean, stats finish: possession 50-50, territory 46-54. So Argentina edges the territory, but defensively, man, Argentina tackles at 94%. So Italy, it's that kind of same story that we've seen from their stats against the other Tier 1 teams they play regularly, just kind of failing to crack the defense. It just seems to be an issue. They generate 2 clean breaks in the game. Argentina gets 6, and Argentina have struggled a bit with the old generating of clean breaks against the likes of the All Blacks and Springboks and so on. Concerningly for Italy as well, turnovers conceded is 23-11. So they're kind of guilty of coughing up the ball a bit as well. Kicks from hand is 38-51. So a lot of kicks in this game. Like I mentioned, the Argentinian guys at times were just putting those little kicks through to get that immediate go-ahead. Sometimes it was the high balls, which they were contesting really well. The restarts, they were sometimes winning. So just the kicking battle was really won by Argentina, and that's probably where the game really was won and lost. But I mean, also defensively, you got to give the Argentinian guys a heap of credit. Monty Ioane was sharp, but I mean, Negri had the most defenders beaten, 3 for Italy. He had 20 odd run meters, which is all right. Lamaro had 12 from 12 tackles, which is a solid shift, but Matera had 14 from 14. Cordero had 50 odd run meters. Carreras had 41 run meters. Boffelli had 54 run meters. They all had a few defenders beaten in clean breaks and whatnot. So Argentina, much needed win after pretty long periods on the defensive and losing games and whatnot. So Italy, it's another loss. I thought going into this one there might be a chance, but not to be. I think they've got Uruguay next week, so that may be one for them to to show us what they can do, because a lot of people like to criticise the Italians, although I noticed their age group teams are still doing pretty well. And I think Argentina have got, who is it, Ireland. I haven't seen the Ireland All Blacks game, but I'm a bit nervous because I've seen 2 emails that I haven't read yet. Or 1 email, 1 Facebook message from Irish fans who I know. If they're messaging me, I'm wondering if it's to tell me some bad news for my boys. But anyway, haven't seen it yet. I'll go watch that now. You guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How pleased are you? Do you think this is enough for Ledesma to kind of show us that he's got what it takes to take this side forward to the next World Cup? Or do you think there still needs to be a change? He's certainly tinkering and trying some new guys. For Italy, second game, defensively, all right. I mean, their tackling percentage of their own is like pretty solid. It's in the 90s, 90%. But yeah, the kicking game, I think, is kind of what cost them. But anyway, second game for Kieran Crowley will give him a bit of a chance. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.